Deep in the cold darkness of space, the last alien emperor, Zerion, stood inside his grand throne room. His throne floated above a sea of glowing stars, and giant war banners hung behind him. He was tall, powerful, and feared by every world in the galaxy. For thousands of years, no one had fought him and lived. But today he watched one small blue planet on his hologram screen, Earth. Zerion's long claws tapped on the side of his chair as he studied the humans. He believed Earth was weak. He believed humans were simple creatures who did not understand real power. His voice was cold when he spoke to his generals. "Prepare the message," he commanded. "Today the galaxy sees the end of Earth." The Emperor's message was sent across the stars. Every alien species received it. And on Earth, every television, every phone, every computer suddenly flashed with his frightening face. His eyes were bright red, filled with hatred. He said only one thing: Earth will fall. Humanity will kneel. For a moment, the whole planet went silent. People froze. Families stared at the screen. Soldiers stopped their training. Pilots paused their missions. No one understood what they had just seen. But the silence did not last long. In a hidden underground base below the Rocky Mountains, Earth's Defense Council gathered quickly. Generals, scientists, and leaders from many nations filled the room. No one panicked. No one screamed. They looked at each other with one message in their eyes: we will not kneel. At the center of the room stood Commander Eric Hale, a calm man with sharp eyes. He was the leader of Earth's strongest secret weapon, the warship known as HSS Valiant. The Valiant was not a normal ship. It was built in secret for the last 15 years. It used human technology mixed with ancient alien metal found in a crashed ship. It was fast, powerful, and designed only for one purpose: to defend Earth from impossible threats. Eric turned to the scientists. "Is the ship ready?" he asked. One scientist nodded. "The core is stable. The Valiant can launch." Eric breathed slowly. He knew what the Emperor wanted. Zerion did not want peace. He wanted to destroy Earth completely. Eric stepped into the command chamber and gave his order: "Activate Project Dawnfire." When he said those words, the entire base began to shake. Deep below the Earth, giant metal doors opened. A tunnel filled with steam and energy glowed bright white. And from inside that tunnel, the HSS Valiant began to rise. Its black armor shined like obsidian. Its engines roared like a storm. Entire screens across the base lit up with warnings and readings. People watched with wide eyes as the ship floated into the sky. For the first time, humanity's real power was awake. But far away, on the Emperor's war planet, Zerion also prepared. His giant armada of 1,000 warships moved into position. Huge cannons charged. Fighters swarmed like angry insects. He stood in front of his soldiers and raised his claws high. "Earth dares to resist," he growled. "Then Earth will burn." His fleet slowly began moving toward the solar system. Back on Earth, Commander Eric watched the stars. He knew the Emperor was coming. He knew thousands of humans would depend on him. He spoke quietly to himself. "He thinks we are weak. He thinks he can crush us." Eric looked at the glowing engine of the Valiant. He will learn the truth soon. The part ends with a final cliffhanger. The Emperor was ready for war, but so was humanity. Commander Eric Hale stood on the bridge of the HSS Valiant as the ship slowly rose above Earth's atmosphere. The dark sky opened around it, and the stars appeared like silent watchers. But Eric knew those stars were not silent tonight. Something dangerous was moving among them. For the first time in history, humanity was preparing to face a galactic emperor. Down in the main reactor room, engineers moved fast. The ship's core glowed like a newborn sun. Blue and gold energy rings spun around it with violent speed. Every reading showed something incredible. The Valiant was far stronger than even the scientists expected. Eric placed his hand on a glowing console. "Athena," he said, "activate." A soft voice answered him instantly. "I am online, Commander." Athena was the Valiant's AI, not an ordinary AI. She was the most advanced intelligence ever created on Earth. She could analyze millions of battle simulations in seconds. She could learn from every attack, and she could make decisions faster than any human pilot. Athena, Eric said, "Show me our enemy." A star map appeared. Red dots filled the edges of the screen, hundreds of them, closing in from deep space. Athena spoke calmly. Emperor Zerion has sent his first scouting units. 3 small fleets. Estimated arrival, 20 minutes. Eric clenched his jaw. The Emperor was not wasting time. "Prepare weapons," he ordered. The Valiant's cannons began to glow. Missile bays opened. Shield generators hummed, like angry beasts waking from sleep. The crew moved with discipline and quiet fear. They all knew what was coming. But Earth was not alone. Around the Valiant, 30 human ships formed a protective formation. These ships were smaller, faster, built for sharp attacks. They were the first human fleet to stand united under one banner. The humans called them the Dawnfire Line. Meanwhile, in the solar system's outer rim, 3 alien scout fleets entered silently. Their ships were dark and needle-shaped. Their captains scanned the area, expecting an empty battlefield. They were wrong. Athena's voice echoed through the Valiant. Enemy ships detected. Range 2,000 kilometers. Eric nodded. Engage. The first human strike hit before the aliens even realized humans had detected them. Blinding beams of energy shot from the Valiant. 3 alien ships exploded at once. The shockwave spread across space. The remaining aliens panicked and attempted a counterattack, but they were slow, too slow for Athena. The AI guided human ships like chess pieces on a massive galactic board. Human fighters swooped around enemy lasers. Missiles curved through space with perfect precision, and within seconds, the alien scouts were destroyed. But this was only the beginning. On his throne world, Emperor Zerion watched the battle on a large screen. His expression twisted with disbelief. "How," he growled. "How did humans destroy them so quickly?" A general stepped forward nervously. "Our scouts report unusual power. Human ships are faster than expected." Zerion slammed his claws into the floor. "Humans are primitive. They should not win so easily." He turned to his commanders. "Send the Void Legion. Crush them." Every alien in the room froze. The Void Legion was not just an army. They were Zerion's most deadly warriors, creatures infused with dark energy, trained only for killing. If the humans survived the scouts, the Legion would make sure they did not survive the next wave. Back on the Valiant, Eric felt a strange pressure in his chest, as if something darker was coming. Athena spoke again. "Commander, a larger fleet is approaching. Much stronger, much faster." Eric stared at the screen. Then this is where the real war begins. The stars trembled as the Void Legion arrived. Commander Eric Hale stared at the star map as the new enemy fleet appeared. This time the red dots were bigger, brighter, and more dangerous. Athena's voice echoed through the Valiant's bridge. "Commander, the Void Legion has entered the solar system." Every crew member froze. The Void Legion was famous across the galaxy. Entire planets had fallen to them. Their ships were shielded with dark energy. Their weapons could melt steel in seconds. And now, they were coming straight toward Earth. Eric breathed deeply. "All ships, battle formation," he ordered. The Dawnfire line moved at once. 30 human ships spread out, forming a wall of steel and fire. The Valiant stood at the center like a dark giant. Outside, the stars began to flicker, not because of sunlight, but because of enemy ships emerging from warp travel. One after another, dark alien cruisers appeared. Their armor looked alive, moving like liquid shadow. Their engines pulsed like beating hearts. Eric felt tension rise in his chest. Athena spoke again. "Enemy numbers, 84 warships. This is only the first wave. Only the first wave." The bridge fell silent. Then the first blast came. A spear of purple energy shot across space. It slammed into a human ship on the left flank. The ship did not explode, it melted. Its armor glowed red, then vanished into dust. The crew had no time to scream. Eric clenched his fists. This was the power of the Void Legion. "Athena," he said, "counterattack. Now." The Valiant responded instantly. Its cannons lit up like thunder. Blue fire burst from railguns. Powerful missiles streaked through space like falling stars. Human ships followed, firing everything they had. The battle turned into pure chaos. Alien fighters swarmed around the Valiant like angry insects. Human interceptors chased them, dodging deadly beams. Explosions lit the darkness like lightning storms. The sound of alarms filled the bridge. Athena spoke quickly. Enemy ships using shadow shield technology. Standard weapons less effective. Then use the Dawnfire cannons, Eric said. The crew stared at him. The Dawnfire cannons were untested. Experimental. Dangerous. One mistake could tear the Valiant apart. But there was no choice. Charge them, Eric ordered. The Valiant began to glow, first red, then bright white. Energy built up inside its core. The ship shook violently. Engineers struggled to stay on their feet. Warning, Athena said, energy levels unstable. Do it, Eric whispered. The Valiant fired. A massive beam of pure, white energy shot through space. It cut across the battlefield like the blade of a god. 5 Void Legion ships were sliced in half instantly. Their bodies exploded in black fire. For the first time, the Void Legion hesitated. On his throne world, Emperor Zerion watched the footage. His eyes widened with fury. How do humans have this power? He shouted, voice shaking the walls. This is not possible. Back in the battlefield, humans pushed forward. The Dawnfire line tightened formation. Ship after ship targeted weak points Athena detected. Every shot counted. Every pilot fought like their home depended on it because it did. But the Void Legion did not retreat. They attacked harder. A massive alien cruiser moved toward the Valiant. Its dark core pulsed like a living heart. It opened fire with a huge energy blast. The Valiant shields flickered, sparked, and finally held. But barely. Shields at 40%, Athena warned. Another blast hit. The ship shook violently. Lights flickered. Crew members fell to the ground. 30%. Eric steadied himself. He knew if the Valiant fell, Earth would fall next. Athena, he said quietly, find me their weakness. Athena scanned the battlefield at incredible speed. After 3 seconds, her answer came. I found it. Eric's eyes sharpened. Tell me, Commander, the Void Legion ships have one flaw, but using it will be extremely dangerous. Eric nodded. Dangerous is fine. The screen zoomed in on a glowing point beneath the enemy cruiser's armor. It's hard. Their cores are unstable, Athena said. If we strike them at the exact angle, we can destroy the entire Legion. Eric took a deep breath. This is our chance, he whispered. The Valiant charged forward. Humanity's first true clash with the Void Legion had begun, and it was only going to get bloodier. The battle in space grew darker as more Void Legion ships entered the battlefield. Their arrival felt like a storm of shadows, spreading fear even through metal hulls of human ships. Commander Eric Hale stood at the center of the Valiant's bridge, watching the star map fill with new enemy signals. Each signal represented a ship that had destroyed entire civilizations. Athena, Eric said, how many? 90 additional ships, the AI answered calmly. Combined Legion strength, now 174. The crew fell silent. That number was impossible for humans. At least, it should have been. But Eric refused to step back. He pointed to the screen. We hit the core weakness you found. We break their line. If we fail, Earth dies. No one argued. Outside, the Void Legion moved like a single living creature. Their ships formed a spear-shaped formation, engines glowing with black flames. At the front was their commander, Lord Velezker, the Emperor's strongest warlord. Velezker's voice boomed across the comms, filled with cruel amusement. Humans, he said, you fight well. But bravery is nothing without power. And you have none. The Valiant answered him with fire. A full volley of missiles launched at the Legion. Blue streaks crossed space like falling stars. For a moment, it looked like the attack would break through. But Velezker's ships activated their shadow shields. The missiles slowed mid-flight, then turned to dust. The crew of the Valiant stared in disbelief. Athena? Eric asked. Shadow shields reach new strength levels, she replied. Unknown technology. A sudden flash hit the Valiant. A blast of purple fire slammed into its right wing. Sparks burst across the bridge. Consoles flickered. A crew member fell from his station. Shields at 25%, Athena warned. The situation was getting worse. Two human ships on the left flank tried to push forward and were instantly torn apart by black energy cannons. Their burning debris drifted in silence. Eric's chest tightened. We need a new strategy. A risky one exists, Athena said. You will not like it. Eric almost smiled. I rarely do. Show me. The screen highlighted the largest Legion cruiser. At its center, beneath layers of living metal, was the unstable core Athena detected earlier. If the Valiant gets close enough, Athena said, and fires the Dawnfire cannons at the exact angle, we can destroy their entire formation. The crew stared at her. Close enough meant almost touching the enemy ship. It meant suicide, but Eric didn't blink. Prepare the maneuver. The bridge filled with tension. Every crew member felt fear, but not the kind that stops a person. It was the kind that makes them fight harder. The Valiant turned sharply, engines roaring. Human support ships formed around it, creating a living shield. Aliens fired blast after blast, but the humans held the line. As they approached the Legion cruiser, Valesker laughed. You think courage can save you, he growled. You are insects. Athena spoke softly. Now, Commander. Eric slammed his hand on the firing control. The Valiant's Dawnfire cannons unleashed a massive blast of white energy. It hit the cruiser's core perfectly. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the cruiser's armor began to crack. Light escaped from inside, bright and violent. A chain reaction started. Shockwaves spread through the other Legion ships. The entire enemy formation exploded in a storm of dark flames. The crew cheered, but only for a moment. Athena's voice broke the celebration. Commander, I detect something worse. Eric froze. Worse. A new shape appeared on the star map. A huge one, bigger than any ship they had ever seen. Athena spoke quietly. Emperor Zerion himself is coming. The bridge fell silent. The real war was about to begin. The battlefield grew silent as the new signal appeared on the star map. It was so large that it covered half the screen. No normal ship had a signature that big. No warlord, no Legion commander, no fleet leader carried such power. Only one being in the galaxy did. Emperor Zerion. Commander Eric Hale felt the air grow heavier. Even Athena paused for 2 seconds, something she never did. Commander, she finally said, the incoming object is not a ship. It is a war titan. Eric's eyes narrowed. Defina va Titan. A mobile fortress the size of a small moon, Athena answered. Weapons capable of destroying continents. The crew stared at the hologram. The Titan moved slowly across space like a dark mountain. Its armor glowed with red cracks. Huge cannons rotated along its sides. The entire structure pulsed with terrifying life, like a giant mechanical heart. One crew member whispered, "How we fight that?" Eric had no answer. The Titan stopped just outside Earth's orbit, blocking sunlight. The shadow it cast stretched across half the planet. People on Earth looked up and saw a dark shape covering the sky. Panic spread everywhere. Inside the Titan, Emperor Zerion stood on a giant balcony above his armies. His red eyes burned with hatred. At last, he said, "The insects show their teeth. Now I will crush them myself." He raised his arm, and the Titan's main cannon began to charge. Red energy gathered in a swirling sphere the size of a city. The cannon was pointed at Earth. Eric's heart pounded. Athena, how long until that weapon fires? 40 seconds, Athena replied. 40 seconds until Earth was destroyed. Eric spoke in a steady voice. All ships focus fire on the Titan. The Dawnfire line attacked at once. Lasers, missiles, and plasma volleys hit the Titan's armor. But it was useless. The attacks bounced off like raindrops hitting a mountain. The Titan did not move. It did not shake. It did not care. Athena, Eric said urgently, find me a weak point. She scanned at impossible speed. The Titan has only one weakness, a small core chamber inside its center. Can we reach it? Not with normal weapons, Athena said. You would need to fly inside the Titan. Eric breathed sharply. Flying inside meant fighting through thousands of Legion troops. It meant going into a death trap. But it was the only way. He looked at his crew. They were scared. Of course they were, but their eyes were steady. Prepare the strike team, Eric said. But before they could move, the Titan's main cannon reached full power. The red sphere grew brighter and brighter. The energy crackled like lightning. Athena, Eric whispered, shield Earth. Athena pushed the Valiant forward, placing the ship between the cannon and the planet. The crew gasped. Eric was putting the Valiant in front of a weapon that could destroy continents. 20 seconds, Athena warned. The Titan fired a test shot. A small beam, only a fraction of its full power, hit a nearby moon fragment. The fragment evaporated instantly. Eric clenched his jaw. We need time. Stall that cannon. Athena responded. Understood. The Valiant charged its Dawnfire cannons again. The ship glowed with dangerous light. Systems overheated. Sparks flew across the bridge. Eric held onto the command rail. Fire. The Valiant fired a blinding white beam at the Titan's cannon. The attack didn't destroy it, but it pushed the Titan's aim slightly off target. The giant red sphere shifted a little. For the first time, Zerion looked surprised. Humans dare oppose me, the Emperor growled. Then I will extinguish them myself. He stepped into a dark chamber at the heart of the Titan. The walls closed around him. Energy began to flow through his body. His armor glowed like a burning star. Athena detected it instantly. Commander, the Emperor is powering up. His personal weapon systems are activating. Eric stared at the screen. Earth will not survive another shot, Athena said quietly. The room fell silent. There was no way back. Eric took a deep breath. Prepare the strike team, he said. We're going inside that Titan. Humanity had only one chance left, and it depended on a mission that no one was expected to survive. The HSS Valiant pushed through space like a wounded beast. Its armor was cracked, its shields broken, but the fire in its core had not dimmed. Commander Eric Hale stood at the front of the bridge, staring at the massive war Titan blocking Earth like a black sun. Inside that Titan, the Emperor was preparing to unleash his full power. Eric turned toward his strike team. 12 soldiers, trained for close combat, ready to face death if needed. Their armor was light, built for speed, not defense. They knew they were entering a place no human had ever walked inside and survived. Listen, Eric said quietly, we don't have time to be afraid. Earth is behind us. Our people are counting on us. We go in, destroy the core, and get out. Nothing else matters. The soldiers nodded, some with shaking hands, but determination in their eyes. Athena's voice filled the room. Commander, I have marked an entry point. The Titan's docking bay is opening for internal weapon deployment. It will remain open for 12 seconds only. 12 seconds, Eric whispered. That's all. That is all, Athena replied. The Valiant accelerated. Engines roared. Sparks shot from its damaged wings. Human support ships flew beside it, forming a shield of steel around the Valiant, taking incoming fire from Legion ships. They were sacrificing themselves. One ship exploded, then another. The Valiant's crew watched the small lights vanish on the screen, but none turned away. 5 seconds until docking bay range, Athena said. Eric gripped the controls. Strike team, prepare. The Titan suddenly fired a beam of dark energy. It scraped across the Valiant's hull, ripping away 2 armor plates. The ship shook violently. 3 seconds, Athena warned. Eric pushed the engines harder. 2 seconds. More Legion fighters swarmed around the Valiant, trying to stop it from entering. Human interceptors crashed into them, creating explosions like burning stars, sacrificing everything to clear a path. 1 second. The docking bay opened, massive, glowing, filled with alien machines. Go! Eric shouted. The Valiant dived in. The docking bay doors slammed shut behind them, sealing them inside the Titan. For the first time, humans were inside the Emperor's fortress. Inside the Titan. The interior was like a living maze. The walls were black metal covered in crimson veins. Strange, alien symbols glowed softly. The air itself felt heavy, almost poisonous. Athena projected a map. Core chamber located 4 kilometers below. Expect heavy resistance. That was an understatement. The instant the strike team stepped out, alien soldiers appeared, Void Legion elites, larger and stronger than normal troops. Their bodies glowed with purple energy. Their claws could cut through armor like paper. The battle exploded. Laser fire lit the chamber. Smoke filled the air. Humans fought with everything they had. 2 soldiers fell instantly, their armor sliced open. Eric shot 3 aliens in a row, then pulled another human behind cover. "Athena," he shouted, "override internal doors." "Working," she replied. Metal doors slid open deeper inside the Titan. Eric pushed forward. Every hallway felt more dangerous than the last. Alien machines crawled on the walls. Energy blasts flew past their heads. The Titan shook as the Valiant continued fighting Legion ships outside. Finally, they reached a massive circular chamber. At its center floated a huge, glowing sphere, the Titan's heart, the core. Eric felt its heat, even from a distance. It pulsed like a sun trapped inside metal. He raised his weapon. "This is it," he said. "All charges on the core." But before they could move, a cold voice filled the chamber. "I admire your courage, humans." The Emperor stepped out of the shadows. His armor glowed like molten fire. His eyes burned like twin suns. Energy cracked around his claws. He looked less like a ruler and more like a god of destruction. Eric felt every soldier behind him freeze. The Emperor smiled slowly. "You have come to die in my hands." He raised one arm, charging a blast strong enough to vaporize them all. The final battle for Earth had begun. The Emperor's attack fired like a falling star. A beam of red and black energy shot toward Eric and his strike team. It burned everything in its path. The humans dove behind the fallen metal pillars of the chamber, but even then the heat scorched their armor. Eric rolled to the side and fired. The Emperor blocked the shot with his bare hand. The energy dissolved into sparks. "You dare enter my Titan?" Zerion growled. "You dare stand against a god?" Eric stood firm, breathing hard, sweat burning his eyes. "You are not a god," he said. "You're just a tyrant who thinks he can choose who lives and dies." The Emperor's eyes glowed brighter. "Then die first." He launched forward with impossible speed. The ground cracked under his feet. He slashed at Eric with a blade made of pure energy. Eric barely blocked with his rifle, which shattered instantly. Another human soldier tackled the Emperor's leg, trying to pull him off balance. Zerion grabbed the soldier by the throat and threw him like a rag doll across the chamber. The soldier hit the wall and did not get up. "His power is too high," one soldier shouted. Eric didn't look away from the Emperor. "We're not here to defeat him," he said. "We're here to stop that core." The Emperor heard him. "You will not touch my heart." He fired another blast. It ripped through the floor, sending humans flying. Eric hit the wall, his sides screaming in pain. He forced himself up. Behind him, the core pulsed violently. The Titan was preparing a full power shot, one that would destroy Earth completely. Athena's voice echoed through Eric's earpiece. "Commander, the Titan's cannon is charging again. It will fire in 60 seconds. 60 seconds. Eric's heart raced. Humanity had only 1 minute left. "Team," he shouted. "Explosives on the core? Now!" The remaining soldiers sprinted toward the glowing sphere. The Emperor roared in anger and teleported in front of them, blocking their path. "You will not harm my empire." Eric sprinted forward and slammed his shoulder into the Emperor. It barely moved Zerion, but it made him look away for 1 second. And that second was enough. A soldier threw an explosive charge at the core. It landed on the surface and stuck, glowing red. The Emperor's face twisted with rage. "No!" He struck Eric with a blast so strong that Eric flew across the chamber and crashed onto the floor, unable to move. His vision blurred. Athena's voice whispered, "Commander, your vitals are dropping." "I know." Eric breathed. More soldiers placed charges on the core. The Emperor tore through them like a storm of fire. One by one, The humans fell, but they bought precious seconds. Eric crawled across the floor. Every movement felt like knives cutting through him. His hand shook as he reached a fallen rifle. He aimed at the last charge's activator. The Emperor raised both hands, gathering a massive sphere of energy, the size of a house, aimed at Earth. Humanity dies now, Zerion roared. Eric whispered, not today. He fired. The bullet hit the activator. All charges glowed white. And then, boom, the core exploded. Light filled the chamber, swallowing everything in blinding heat. The Titan shook violently. Alarms echoed everywhere. The floor cracked. Walls melted. The Emperor screamed in fury as the blast ripped through his armor. You insects cannot, he tried to speak, but the light consumed him. Outside, the Titan's surface cracked like glass. Explosions tore through its structure. Its main cannon broke apart. A final shockwave spread through space like a dying star. From their ships, humans watched the Titan collapse. The last Emperor's fortress was gone. Inside the ruins, Eric lay on the floor. Athena's faint voice reached him. Commander, the Titan is falling apart. We must evacuate. Eric tried to move, but his body didn't respond. Go, he whispered. Save the others. Athena paused. I will not leave you. The Valiant smashed into the Titan's remains, breaking through the collapsing walls. A rescue team pulled Eric out moments before the entire structure detonated. They escaped, and behind them, the Titan exploded into a brilliant star of light, marking the end of the last Emperor. Final scene. Humanity stood together as heroes returned. People cried, celebrated, and hugged strangers in the streets. Earth had survived the greatest threat in its history. Eric Hale, wounded but alive, stood on a balcony overlooking the sunrise. Athena spoke softly beside him. Commander, you saved humanity. Eric shook his head. No, he said, watching the lights spread across the sky. Humanity saved itself. And so the story of the last Emperor ended, not with darkness, but with the rise of a species that refused to kneel. Humanity had risen, and the galaxy would never laugh at Earth again.